In the annals of human history, where tales of conquerors, inventors, and visionaries dominate the pages, there exists a shadowy footnote, a legend whispered in the dim corners of taverns, scribbled in the margins of forbidden tomes, and debated in the hushed tones of conspiracy theorists. This is the story of Reginald Reggie Flatulence, the deadliest fart person in history. Born in the misty highlands of Scotland in 1745, during an era when the world teetered on the brink of revolution and enlightenment, Reggie was no ordinary man. His life, a bizarre tapestry of tragedy, comedy, and unintended catastrophe, would forever alter the course of events in ways no historian dares to acknowledge. What follows is not merely a biography but an epic saga, woven from fragments of lost diaries, eyewitness accounts, those who survived, and the faint echoes of flatulent folklore. Prepare yourself, dear reader, for a journey into the gaseous abyss, a story that spans continents, centuries, and the very limits of human endurance. By the time you reach the end, you may question the air you breathe. Reginald Archibald Flatulence was born on a stormy night in the village of Glenfiddich, a speck on the map where sheep outnumbered people and the wind carried the scent of peat bogs and unwashed kilts. His father, Angus Flatulence, was a humble shepherd with a penchant for haggis and buttermilk, while his mother, Fiona, tended the hearth with a stoic grace that masked her own digestive woes. From the moment Reggie drew his first breath, the midwives noted something peculiar. A faint rumble, like distant thunder, emanated from the infant's tiny form. "Och, he's got the winds of the Highlands in him," one old crone cackled, swaddling him tightly. Little did they know this was no mere colic. As a child, Reggie was unremarkable in appearance. Freckled cheeks, tousled red hair, and a build as sturdy as a Highland cow. But his internals were a brewing storm. Family dinners, laden with beans, cabbage, and fermented oats, became battlegrounds. At age 5, during a particularly hearty meal, Reggie let loose a toot that shattered the family crockery. Plates flew from shelves, and the cat, Mr. Whiskers, bolted into the night, never to return. Angus laughed it off as lad's spirit, but Fiona eyed her son with a mix of pride and dread. "Evie got the gift of the ancestors," she whispered one evening, recounting tales of ancient clan warriors whose battle cries were amplified by, well, natural emissions. Schooling in Glenfiddich was rudimentary, held in a draughty kirk where Master McTavish drilled Latin and arithmetic into reluctant skulls. Reggie excelled in neither, but his presence was felt, literally. During a recitation of Virgil's Aeneid, a nervous Reggie released a silent but deadly puff that cleared the room. Children coughed, eyes watered, and McTavish himself fainted dead away, muttering about sulphur demons. Expelled for unnatural sorcery, Reggie was sent to apprentice with his uncle, Hamish, a tanner in Edinburgh. It was here, amid the stench of hides and dyes, that Reggie's powers began to manifest in earnest. Edinburgh in the 1750s was a bustling hive of Enlightenment thinkers. David Hume pondering causality, Adam Smith sketching the invisible hand. But for Reggie, it was a playground of peril. Working in the tannery, surrounded by vats of fermenting urine and animal fats, his diet worsened. One fateful afternoon, after devouring a lunch of pickled herring and black pudding, Reggie felt a familiar pressure. He tried to hold it, but nature prevailed. The resulting expulsion was no ordinary fart. It was a sonic boom laced with methane so potent that it ignited a nearby lantern. Flames erupted, consuming half the tannery in a blaze that historians later attributed to spontaneous combustion. Uncle Hamish survived with singed eyebrows, but Reggie fled into the night, branded a fire-starter by the superstitious mob. Wandering the cobbled streets, Reggie pondered his curse. Was he a monster, a freak, or something more? He sought solace in the libraries of the university, sneaking in under cover of darkness. There, poring over alchemical texts by candlelight, he discovered references to aromancers, ancient mages who harnessed the winds of the body for power. Paracelsus himself had written of vital airs that could heal or harm. Inspired, Reggie began experimenting. He documented his emissions in a leather-bound journal, noting diet, duration, and devastation. A bean-heavy stew produced a lingering fog that wilted plants. Ale induced explosive bursts capable of knocking hats off passers-by. By age 18, Reggie had classified his farts into categories. The whisperer, silent, odorless but disorienting; the thunderclap, loud, shocking, non-lethal; and the reaper, deadly, with a toxicity rivaling arsenic. But knowledge brought isolation. Reggie lived as a hermit on the outskirts of town, surviving on odd jobs and the occasional pilfered pie. His only companion was a stray dog named Puff, who seemed immune to his auras and followed him loyally. One evening, as Reggie practiced controlling a controlled release in a meadow, Puff chased a rabbit into the underbrush. Reggie, straining for precision, let slip a reaper. The rabbit froze mid-leap, collapsing in a heap. Puff returned, tail wagging, oblivious. Reggie buried the creature, vowing to master his gift before it claimed innocence. Word of the Edinburgh Enigma, a man whose mere presence could fell beasts, spread like wildfire. In 1765, during the height of the Stamp Act unrest, Reggie was approached by a shadowy figure in a tricorn hat. "Ye've a talent, lad," the man rasped, introducing himself as Silas Blackthorne, a smuggler with ties to the Jacobite remnants. "The English tax collectors are squeezing us dry. Could ye persuade 'em otherwise?" Reluctant but desperate for coin, Reggie agreed to a trial. Disguised as a beggar, he infiltrated a customs house where a portly official, Lord Harrington, tallied duties. Positioning himself downwind, Reggie consumed a pouch of lentils provided by Blackthorne. As Harrington droned on about tariffs, Reggie unleashed a whisperer. The air thickened, Harrington's eyes glazed, he clutched his throat and slumped over his ledger, dead from what doctors called apoplexy. The smugglers rejoiced, dubbing Reggie the Silent Storm. Thus began his career as an unwitting assassin. For the next decade, Reggie traversed the British Isles, his services sought by rebels, rivals, and the scorned. In London, he dispatched a corrupt banker during a lavish ball. The man's demise was blamed on bad oysters. In Dublin, amid the potato famine whispers, he eliminated a landlord whose eviction starved families. His fart, a thunderclap, shattered windows and induced mass hysteria, allowing tenants to reclaim their lands. But each kill weighed on Reggie. In his journal he wrote, "Am I a hero or a harbinger of hell? These winds are not mine to command. They command me. Fame bred enemies." In 1775, as the American Revolution brewed, Reggie was lured across the Atlantic by a letter from Benjamin Franklin himself. "Dear Mr. Flatulence," it read, "your unique abilities may tip the scales of liberty. Join us in Philadelphia." Intrigued, Reggie boarded a ship, Puff in tow. The voyage was hellish. Confined quarters amplified his emissions, leading to a mysterious illness that claimed 3 sailors. Upon arrival, Franklin, ever the inventor, fitted Reggie with a ventilation harness, a contraption of bellows and tubes to diffuse his gases safely. In the colonies, Reggie's legend grew. During the Battle of Bunker Hill, positioned on a ridge, he released a reaper that drifted into British lines, causing soldiers to hallucinate and flee, screaming of poison mists from Hades. Historians credit the fog of war. Insiders knew better. George Washington, in a private correspondence, noted, "Our gaseous ally turned the tide, though his diet demands a king's ransom in beans." Yet tragedy struck. In Valley Forge, during the brutal winter of 1777, Reggie shared a tent with fellow soldiers. A nightmare-induced fart escaped, a potent mix that suffocated 2 comrades in their sleep. Devastated, Reggie deserted, wandering the wilderness. He settled in the Appalachian Mountains, living as a recluse, honing his control through meditation and herbal remedies. Chamomile tamed the thunderclap. Garlic amplified the reaper. Puff remained his sentinel, barking warnings when pressure built. Isolation couldn't last. In 1783, post-war America buzzed with opportunity. Reggie, now in his late 30s, ventured to New Orleans, drawn by tales of Creole cuisine, ironically a fart-fueling feast. There he met Marie Duval, a fiery tavern owner with eyes like emeralds and a laugh that echoed through the bayous. Marie saw beyond Reggie's affliction. She called it his inner symphony. For the first time Reggie loved. Their courtship was a whirlwind of stolen kisses and cautious dinners. Marie concocted safe meals, bland porridges that muted his powers. They married in a moonlit ceremony, Puff as ring-bearer. But happiness was fleeting. In 1789, as the French Revolution erupted, Marie's brother, a diplomat, summoned them to Paris. "The people need heroes," he wrote. Reggie, emboldened by love, agreed. Paris was chaos. Guillotines gleamed, mobs roared. Reggie infiltrated the Bastille's remnants, using whisperers to disorient guards, freeing prisoners. Robespierre himself consulted him. "Your winds are the breath of liberty." But jealousy brewed. A rival, the Marquis de Sade, yes, that one, envious of Reggie's notoriety, plotted sabotage. During a feast honoring Reggie, de Sade spiked his wine with laxatives. The resulting explosion, a mega reaper, leveled a wing of the palace, killing dozens, including innocents. Blamed for terrorism, Reggie fled with Marie. Pursued by Jacobins, they hid in the catacombs. There, in the skeletal depths, Marie confessed she was with child. Joy mingled with terror. "Our babe will inherit your gift," she said. But fate intervened. Cornered by pursuers, Reggie unleashed a defensive thunderclap. The blast collapsed tunnels, burying enemies, but also trapping Marie under rubble. She perished, her last words, "Control it, my love. For our child." Reggie escaped, heartbroken, carrying Marie's locket. The child, a son named Etienne, was born in secrecy to a midwife ally. Reggie left him with trusted friends, vowing to return when safe. Wandering Europe, he became a mercenary of mists. His farts now weapons of vengeance, BY 1800, Reggie was a ghost in the machine of history. Napoleon Bonaparte, rising to power, heard whispers of the flatulent phantom. Intrigued, he summoned Reggie to the Tuileries. "Show me your art," the emperor demanded. Reggie demonstrated a controlled whisperer that felled a practice dummy. Impressed, Napoleon enlisted him as a secret weapon. In the Battle of Austerlitz, 1805, Reggie, positioned on a hill, released a series of reapers that drifted into Austrian lines. Soldiers choked, visions blurred. Victory was swift. Waterloo, 1815, saw his downfall. A miscalculated thunderclap ignited powder kegs prematurely, contributing to Napoleon's defeat. Betrayed, Reggie was imprisoned in Elba, but escaped using a fart to corrode his cell bars, methane's acidity at work. Aging but unbowed, Reggie sought Etienne, now a young man in Vienna. Reunited, father taught son control. Etienne's farts were milder, artistic, capable of scents that inspired composers like Beethoven, who credited mysterious aromas for his symphonies. The 19th century brought change. Reggie, in his 70s, settled in London during the Industrial Revolution. Factories belched smoke, masking his emissions. He worked as a consultant for inventors, his gases testing material strength. But health waned. Years of internal pressure took tolls. Ulcers, fatigue. In 1837, during Queen Victoria's coronation, Reggie attended incognito. A celebratory meal triggered a final mega-reaper. The blast, contained by crowds, caused a mysterious fog that hospitalized hundreds. Reggie collapsed, dying in Etienne's arms. His last words, "Bury me upwind." Reggie's story faded into myth, but echoes remain. Etienne's descendants carried diluted powers. Politicians whose hot air sways crowds, comedians with killer punchlines. In modern times, conspiracy theorists link global events to fart lineages. The Hindenburg disaster? A descendant's mishap. Climate change. Cumulative emissions. Reginald Flatulence, the deadliest fart person in history, reminds us, even the humblest bodily function can reshape the world. His journal, discovered in 2025, reveals, "In every breath power lies." Wield it wisely, or it wields you.